Dang, one already, huh?
That's crazy, huh?
1 years old. All right,
Wow.
everybody, we are officially live.
Yeah,
This
yeah, yeah, yeah.
is Arm Wrestling Showcase number 62. I'm here with my lovely wife, Malia, and my beautiful daughter, Odette, who is celebrating her 1 year birthday. Today is the day. So,
Aw.
yeah, we're going to do some, we might go to 80s night
Who's
tonight
clapping?
and do a little dancing. She
Can,
has a
can we get Kane
birthday
on the
party.
guitar singing happy birthday or what?
Oh, man.
Hey, we gotta have a live performance from you, Kane. Come on, you gotta sing it to your daughter right now.
It's super cheesy.
Brow, 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 brow,
What's
brow.
up, Devin? I
So,
gotta remember the chords. What is it? It's something super simple. Let me see.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
I'd be a
Oh,
terrible
this
party.
performance is going viral, Kane. I'm just letting you know that.
Hey, we have to see your.
There you go.
Holy crap! What are the chords? Happy birth. No, that's not happy birth. Oh, that's not it. Happy.
Make it up.
Yeah, improvise.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember.
Do like a red, white, and blue happy birthday version.
Oh, I think I got it. I think it's G and D. So like, happy birthday to you. But happy birthday. No, that's not it either.
Freestyle, it's all good.
Happy, there it is. That's the key. Happy birthday. All right, let me put it on the live sound. Let me see. Musician off, musician on. All right, so you might be able to hear it this way. All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Odette. She sings. She's like, do, do. Happy birthday to
You.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, little girl. Oh, we got a bunch of little girls.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, it's so cute.
you. Hey, what's up?
Bunch of cute babies.
Good
How's it
job,
going,
Kane.
Devin? Thank you.
what's that?
Yeah, very
How's it
good job.
going?
Going.
So you hit the gym today?
Yeah, that was earlier.
That was today? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, man. How you feeling after Sunday's practice?
I don't know if you know, but I had a little bit of a pop. I don't know if you
Uh-oh.
heard. Yeah, when I was pulling with Mario, I was just really like a deep hook, and then I just hit real hard. So like the inside of my, like it's not my elbow. It was literally, it felt like right
Tendon
here.
roll?
Oh,
Could have
I'll see
been.
you guys in there.
But I've been able to pretty much fully work out all week. I've just been going really light just to be safe. And then today I could feel it when I was like doing a little supination. On the
Mm,
really feel it.
yeah,
but,
give it some time, yeah.
yeah. 'Cause I wasn't going heavy today. I was just doing some holds just to get blood in there though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be. I mean, it'll be fine. It's nothing serious.
Yeah, those pops
Yeah,
are
it
always
sounds like
so
the
hard
usual.
to distinguish because I've had them happen and it ended up being, something minor, like
Yeah.
nothing too bad. And sometimes they can be enough to like put you back a little bit.
Yeah. But other than
What's
that, if I didn't have that pop, I've definitely recovered like great now compared to when I first, really got into it. I mean, I
right?
felt
Yeah.
I literally would like cry to my girlfriend all day. I wanted to just cut my arm off. And that's the longest practice I've pulled, continuously. I only pulled with my right, but I was there, for a few hours. Usually, I mean, I'd
Yeah.
only pull a little bit, my arm would just be blown up and I'd be done. But my arm's definitely recovering a lot better now than when I first started.
Okay. Yeah, I actually have a couple more questions for you in regards to that I think will be helpful for a lot of people that are coming into the sport. But first, let me welcome a couple people. We got J squared is how I know you. Does the J stand for Joshua? Obviously, that's your name.
Yeah, Joshua Jr. is my real name, JJ, but
All
J
right.
What's
squared,
up, buddy? What's up?
Right
How's it
on,
going,
man.
everybody? How's it going, guys?
Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Going on,
Good.
brother.
Benji, Travis, how's it going?
Good to
Good,
have
man.
you in here
Chilling.
for the first time. A lot of you guys might see Joshua around. He had a lot of videos with the dreadlocks. I liked all those boxing videos you and your buddies do. That
Oh,
was pretty
thank you,
fun.
thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Do you guys still do that?
Oh yeah, time to time. I got bad knees, so I stay away from boxing.
Yeah, yeah. We also have Paul Stevens in the house. We have Carolyn
really?
Loomis. We've got Atlantis IRL saying happy birthday. Paul Stevens says happy birthday. We got Don Mormon is in the house. It says happy
Don.
birthday. And Alden Salazar is in the house as well, saying
Alden.
happy birthday.
Alden.
Alden's very impressive, very good arm wrestler. You've gotten to pull him recently, Travis. What do you think of Alden Salazar?
I already told him I want a super match with him.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, he's really good. He reminds me a lot of Jordan, Vivant or whatever.
Okay.
Very, very similar style. They both
I
pull
can see that.
very identical. Just a lot of back pressure. Obviously getting to the straps. But yeah, I mean he's a great young arm wrestler for sure. So yeah, I told him, I'll be ready to go next time. But yeah, I mean it's definitely a surprise. I mean the guy is not really big. I mean he's in the 145 class, but man, he packs the punch for sure.
Yeah, Alden, let us know in the chat, or I think you have the link you can drop in if you want. Let us know, do you have any sports background? Specifically, do you have gymnastics background? I'm curious because, yeah, one of the things that stands out the most with me when I've been watching you pull lately is you've got good athleticism, good intuition, but yeah, your form and the way you use your size, which you're what, like 140 pounds, 145 pounds, is really, really good.
Yeah.
A lot of bigger people can learn from you in terms of your form, your technique, and how you utilize all of your muscle groups in a compound form when you arm wrestle. It looks
Yeah.
so good.
100%. I mean, I totally agree with that because I mean, when you first grip up with him, you don't really feel a lot, you know what I mean? But once he hits you, I mean, you don't feel it like in that hand, you feel it in his whole body. Like his whole body's like generating through that move. And it's really good. So definitely kind of just catches you off guard. But yeah, I mean, great arm wrestler.
Yeah, I regurgitate this all the time. I think a lot of big people can learn from experienced smaller people. They usually have to tap into that full body compound, um, technique and movement, utilization, and we can all take something from that because that's what arm wrestling is. The stronger we
Totally
are
agree.
coming in, the more bad habits we have, the more we just try and you know, rely on one thing, your hand, your
Yep.
wrist, your arm, whatever it is. But these
100%.
guys, they know how to access everything because they kind of have to
100%.
start. I'm gonna get the link. Where's my phone at? Get the link out to one more person. Here it is. So, Devin, with your recovery, you're an interesting case. So, one, you're relatively new to the sport, but you have a very extensive strength background. You've lifted forever, pretty much. So I am curious, now that you're really taking this sport seriously, how has your recovery time been? What is that journey like? I'm assuming you had your programming when it came to the gym down to a science. You've probably had it perfect for years now. And now that you're getting into arm wrestling, I'm sure it's thrown a massive wrench into that.
Right.
How does your week to week look now?
Oh man. I would say, because I've been at it now for only about 8 weeks maybe, and I would say definitely for the first, at least the first month. No, even up today, there's always something aching. But for the first like 4 or 5 weeks when I got into it, and that's when I really start second guessing, do I really want to do this? And I definitely think it applies to people, like I say somebody coming into the sport who's already very strong. And because those little muscles and tendons and joints aren't used to that. So I can apply so much force to certain, parts of my body that rather than somebody who, you have somebody who's never really a competitive lifter get into arm wrestling, they can't apply as much force to those little muscles and stuff like someone who comes in very strong. So I think those joints and little muscles start getting, a lot more sore from somebody like me than somebody who else just started.
Right.
Because I can apply so much force to them. My girlfriend's at work, or else I would just ask her. But I mean, I would say like she would, always call him. I would cry to her every day if I wanted to cut my arm off. Literally wanted to cut my arm off, and it would be so brutal. But in terms of lifting now, my my lifts are just so much different because I have to recover, from practice. I have to throw in arm wrestling lifts in it as well. So if I wanted to, hit chest on a Monday or Tuesday, that's not really going to happen because my elbow is just going to blow up because I just got done pulling hard on Sunday. But now I'm starting to realize even with the arm wrestling lifts, I don't really need to, I feel like not now, I don't need to try to go heavy on them. I just need to know how to mind muscle those little muscles that I'm not used to. Even with high volume, those muscles are still going to grow and get stronger. I just need those to somewhat try to catch up with the rest of my body. Or else if I just try to throw a lot of heavy weight on there, I might be able to overcompensate using something else. So I'm not really targeting, what I really want to be targeting as much. So I guess that's about it. It's definitely a journey. It's a trip.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see that you keep coming back and you seem to be really serious about it because those that seem to come in like briefly for like a week, maybe 2, 3 at the most, are usually the ones that come with strong background. Because you're right. Everything that you said about the force that is being put on tendons that have not been conditioned yet and joints. It's a lot harder. So we get a lot of guys on our team that come in just once. They just come in once and they are done. We've got that one new guy that came in on the team. He had his second week back, and I was really impressed by him too because he's a pretty strong dude. And I asked how he felt after his first week, and for 3 weeks he was just like in pain. For 3 weeks, but he ended up coming back. I'm trying to remember his name. I want to say Kevin. He's about your same stature. Pretty big dude naturally. I think he's a mechanic and he's got some like football background and stuff like that.
I'm not sure. Was he there this past Sunday?
Yeah, he was there for a little bit. Yeah.
Older, younger?
A little bit older, yeah.
Trying to think what he looks like. Not the bald guy, right? He's real quiet.
No.
Okay.
No, he's in like a baseball cap. But
I'm not sure.
Point is, we get a lot of people come in and out, and it's one of those things where, we kind of assume that they're not gonna stick it out, and he definitely like got my attention this last practice that he came back after 3 weeks of pain. But you're right. If that person that came in had no strength background, they would have been applying that much pressure to those unconditioned joints and tendons, and it probably wouldn't be that bad, and they'd be building that foundation in a much more reasonable way. So
that's me. I came in super weak. I'm still weak. I don't have any soreness ever.
I'm
not putting any
I love
force
it.
on my joints at all. I don't have that burden.
I love it. So that it's one of those very complex situations because there's so many things that come into play, but it seems like in terms of numbers, more often I see the guys that don't have a strength background that come into the sport, even like with their work, they might do like data entry or, you know, sales or something like that. I see like their 3-year trajectory more often to be better than the person that comes in that's like a tradesman that lifts weights or like whatever. But however, there is those anomalies like your Mega Mikes that come in and stuff. And Devin, if you know you keep pounding away, like you could be one of those anomalies too. But it definitely seems I've been paying a lot of attention to this the past few years, and it seems like those that come in with that emptier cup, they run a really good slow progression just upwards, whereas the others, they have this weird kind of like, you know, and oftentimes don't even stick it out.
Right. Well, that's because before, you know, 'cause I've been friends with Derek and we've worked together for about 6 years or so, and I'd pop up to a practice here and there over the years. But then I'd always be like, no way, because I was still competing in strongman then, you know, and then it would just mess up my training all week. And I'm like, well, I can't do any of my regular lifts. But now that I've kind of like retired strongman, that's why I was like, okay, I want to compete in something. So now I just know that the soreness, all that's just part of it, you know, and it's just, I could totally alter the way I train now because I'm not training for something else. So yeah, there's parts where, you know, it sucks and my arm literally just kills me. But I mean, I just, you know, find ways to deal with it or how to recover and stuff like that. So
Right. Well,
yeah,
everything that we've been talking about with the recovery is going to go miles with you because, yeah, it's important to me that you stick it out. But the one thing, if I could advise anybody coming in, especially with some form of strength background, is do what Derek's traditional method is in terms of getting someone started, is primarily starting in the hook, but start slow. You know,
yeah,
do it with the isometrically controlled. You know, don't go in there and just try to like bang with people like hitting and stuff like that. But so many other teams think top roll is the way to start because they think it's safer. And I remember when I came onto the team, Derek told me we want to condition your elbow, your joints, and your tendons first. You know, so primarily be working in the hook. That's where you need to start. You don't have to, but that's what I think you should do. And in amateur tournaments and like just getting into pros, I was doing okay with a top roll. It was more fun. So I did that like the first year and a half or so. And then finally when I was getting to the point where I had to like kind of get into that elbow a little bit, just basically in a nutshell, my progression was slower, dude. Like I didn't hit those amateur pains, you know, and elbow difficulties and stuff like that, brachialis, um, until like a year and a half, 2 years in. So it took me like 2.5 years to kind of break through that period. You can break through it, I think, within your first year. You know, if as long as you do it controlled. Anybody that really starts smart by working more in the hook, back, a little bit aside, you know, and controlled. We've got one of those anomalies that doesn't fit into any of those categories that I discussed earlier, Mr. Will Klingman in the house.
Will Klingman.
Okay, let me tell you, I'm not an anomaly anymore because I haven't, okay, so I haven't been to the gym in like 4 years since COVID. Like I was hitting the gym hard like 2019, 2020, but once 2020 came and I moved back because I used to live in Carlsbad for like 6 months while my brother was deployed. Well, not deployed, stationed in Pendleton in San Diego. So he got a spot and I didn't know nobody there. So I didn't know anybody there. So all I did was work out. But then he got a girl and it was a 1-bedroom apartment and I wasn't about to sleep on the couch. So I came back home. But then I got with my girl who I'm with now. And after that, I just never went back to the gym. I just never did. And people think I'm strong and it's kind of annoying. Like it still, you know, people want to beat me, which doesn't make sense. You know, like you're getting better. I am doing nothing. So if eventually you will, or you already should have. And if you haven't, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, that sucks. But I'm nobody special. I'm really not. And I don't like people looking up to me like that.
Made it huge. Yeah.
I just don't like it. Like, you're holding me to an expectation that isn't serious. Like, if you really knew me, you would know that I'm not special.
Well, I think that's what I think that's where the anomaly exists, because you cannot take it seriously, and still be hard to deal with for a lot of people that are working very hard.
All right. Well, all right. I'll add one thing to that, because now it's catching up to me. Like, I haven't worked out then, so I'm not healing. I'm just letting it go, and then it just gets better. And I keep showing up, and I keep pulling, and now I'm getting like injured almost every practice without even going hard. Like, I was pulling with Derek 2 weeks ago at practice, very lightly, left-handed, and he was like going over here, and I was trying to re-grip, and I felt something pop from doing that. Like, I'm just getting injured. So right now I'm not pulling at all. I'll come to practice because it's so close and I love the guys, but I'm not gonna pull. And I don't know when I will. Hopefully in January for the LA Fit Expo. So that gives me a lot of time. And I got some weights from Ricky, so I just need to get a bar so I can do something.
Yeah.
But I want to, because it's kind of depressing. I used to be able to pull at all times, but now I'm actually getting hurt, and it's taking weeks to heal. So I'm getting old. I'm not training. I don't eat very good. I just eat whatever I can when I'm hungry. So I'm doing everything wrong, and it's actually showing to me. So
how old are you, Will?
You ain't old.
I'm about to be 30 in December.
About to be.
I started, dude, when I was 22.
You have a lot of years in there.
Prime.
You're not even old for the NFL yet.
Arm wrestling prime is past 30s, bro.
No, when I feel weak, I just think of Allen. I'm like, you know what? I got a lot of time. I got time.
2 times your whole life to get to him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Another anomaly who just blows my mind. And Kane, how do you deal with him, or Will? Have you pulled? How's Lind? Like, how do you guys deal with Linder?
Oh yeah, he's a freak.
I have the last win on him in a super match, but I probably honestly can confidently say that I will lose to him. Well, right now, obviously, I'm injured, but even if I wasn't, to be honest, he, like, every time I grew up with him, he's like making strides in some fucking way. I don't know what that dude does, but it works.
Yeah, if he doesn't work out, I don't think he really eats healthy. He's strong.
He's a fucking beast.
He's gifted. He's gifted.
He ain't no 165 no more, I'll tell you that.
Dude, at any level that I've ever been, I would never hook him.
There's no way, bro.
Never hook that guy.
When I seen him
last time I seen him, he said he was 170, and I was like, "We're the same weight? What the
no
fuck?"
Shot. There's no shot. I just seen him at Gregor, and he looked a smooth 185. He was huge.
Well, you haven't seen him since then. He actually got smaller.
Oh, I mean, since Gregor, I'm like, he looked massive.
Are you going on Sunday? Are you going on Sunday, Travis?
I'm gonna go on Saturday. But what I wanted to tell you, Will, if I have Chris Kringle too, I need you to have a super match there. So I mean, you better figure it out before the end of December.
What month are we in? September already?
Almost
September.
August. We're still in August.
Well, I'm going to Louisiana September 30th to like October, September, October. Yeah, like October like 9th. Something like that.
You still got November to train.
Oh, Marshall.
Wait, when is it? December?
I want to see you go against Marshall, and I want to see Marshall train to go against you.
That's fucked up, because he's already strong. He's already healed, and I'm dying over here,
Will hates that idea.
I like that match.
Like, give me to the end of November, bro, because honestly, like, I'm not going to do anything that's going to further injure me.
We're talking December,
somebody his weight class.
We're talking December.
We're talking like almost the end of December, Will. So
you know how long it takes an old man like me to heal?
You're not old.
You got like
dude.
You got like 8 years under your belt. You'll be all right.
There's like
I
4
love you,
moons.
Will, but I'm not giving you that one for sure.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
not at all, man. I'm about to be 44 next month, and no.
Dude, I
Yeah.
remember when
You
I
can
was
do
the
it.
young guy, but
You
now
can
at
do
work, I'm the geezer, bro. 30, I'm the geezer.
Kane's like, you need to just shut up right there, man.
But Kane is a specimen, bro. I wish I could be like him at that age.
Man, everybody wishes they could be you. You wish you could be them. Oh my goodness.
I don't want to be me, man.
Hey, what's up, Drew?
What's up,
Hey, what's up,
Benjimac?
Andrew?
What's up, Klingham? What's up, Mr. Wrist Cracker? What's
What's
up,
up, baby?
Kane? What's up, everybody?
Bro, say my name right. It's Kling Man.
I said Will, the perfect wingman.
Oh,
Okay, there
I
you
could
go.
be actually. I could be,
There you
No,
go.
you're too tall. You would take them all.
Yeah.
but I don't want any of
He's
them.
got
So
the-
that's the difference. See, they gotta
He's
go to
got
the
the
next
wingspan.
best.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? I heard Travis was
Will
talking
Will
mad
Will was
crap.
just
You
Will was
kid.
just saying how old he is
Sorry, this
and
kid friendly.
decrepit, supposedly.
I think I'm the
Will-
youngest one here, other than Travis.
Will is the equivalent of like dog years because he's got the personality of a Labrador, but he imagines he's like 20 years older than he is.
I feel it, bro, physically.
Benji, how old are you?
I'm old enough. I don't know.
32.
I'm legal.
What's up? Okay.
Yeah, I feel you a little bit, Will, because I mean when I was younger and in my 20s and even some of my 30s, like I felt old because I lived hard. Like I did, I partied a lot, I had fun. You're the man. You're still living your life and everything like that. It wasn't until like my mid 30s I got myself all like, healthy and stuff like that. Having like a beer is a very occasional thing for me. But yeah, like I don't know. Like I think anybody can just run your race, man. Do you do what's feeling good for you.
Gang.
But you are not old. There's gonna, if you ever decide to not feel old, you'll not feel old. I think when
Yep.
we kind of like get to our mid 30s and start like reaching 40, it's like a pre-midlife crisis. You start thinking like broad scope of everything, like in your 20s, you're just collecting experiences and living like as much life as you possibly can. And once you start kind of reaching that 40 range, things like legacy and retirement and like how long I can freaking live,
For
See,
yeah.
that's why I feel old, because I already feel like that. I think
Yeah.
about that all the time.
Yeah.
All the
It-
time.
You're in your
On it-
20s, man.
29, bro. 29.
At the end of the day, you only feel like that is because probably just your eating habits, honestly. Food
All right,
just
let's not get started with this, Travis. We don't
Bro.
need your rambling. We see it every morning. Calm
straight
down.
up.
Hold on. I
Preach,
wanted to ask
preach.
Kane this before Travis starts his amazing rant, but
It's a sermon.
I'm just messing with Travis just to pick on him. But Kane, I wanted to ask. So hit me with the details of what's going on this weekend, brother, because I'm super excited for it. I'm super pumped up to see who shows up. I know there's going to be some great pullers there. It's going to be a great scene. I just tell me a little bit about that because I've just like saw the posters and just jumped in on it.
Isn't that on Saturday?
Yeah, so well Saturday and then Lake Gregory on Sunday, but it's all of SoCal Armfest doing that at Lake Gregory.
Oh no, I'll be at both. You threw me off. You said next week. I was like, wait, you're just gonna bypass Big Bear and fucking the practice?
No, I meant for this. My apologies.
No, you're good. I'm sorry.
So
Yeah.
it was a total fluke the way it happened, and I'm like trying to build my Mountain Alpha Empire team up here. So it was really weird that it worked out this way because it's been hard getting arm wrestling on this mountain. But number one, yeah, Derek and Alan hit me up last month and was like, hey, let's do the next Arm Fest up there at Lake Gregory. And so we're doing that. And then literally last minute, I was just talking to Bill about this at the August UAL. Just didn't know it was going to happen this quickly. Somebody in Big Bear that runs a big kind of festival of sorts down near the lake is interested in arm wrestling. The guy's been following UAL specifically. He thinks that's like, the pinnacle of arm wrestling, at least in California. And so, that's who he's been reaching out to. And so it sounds like Bill and Josh from Nowhere to Run Arm Wrestling, got together and they made something happen last minute. So, yeah, they're gonna, it's gonna be one you're gonna want to be a part of for several reasons. So it's this Saturday at noon. From what I understand, there's an amateur and pro division. They're adding in the 145-pound class. So that's a huge thing. There's some decent payouts, custom belts and awards. But the types of events that I love going to are the kind that actually draws spectatorship so we can build the sport, right? And this is one of those because it's a festival. So there's going to be a ton of people, locals, tourists, and this mountain is a very tourist-driven mountain, especially during the weekends in summer and stuff. So there's going to be people walking by from Germany, from, Japan, like people walking by from every country, seeing this and wondering what's going on. So there's going to be a lot of good traffic flow and good spectatorship. And since I can't be there, I didn't find out about it till like a week ago.
Oh, you can't compete?
No, that's the day of Odette's birthday party. We've been planning it for like 3 months. So yeah, we've got a lot of people, a lot of family coming up and a lot of locals to do her 1 year birthday party. So just helping promote it, but everybody you need to be at that event. It'll be great. And as far as I understand,
I'll be live streaming it, FYI.
beautiful, beautiful. As far as I understand, Josh is going to be handing out flyers for the Alpha Empire Mountain team as well. That's going to be really huge. So yeah, you guys, you see people you talk to people that get interested in arm wrestling that happen to be locals up there in Big Bear. Give them my info. If Josh has flyers there, give him one of those so we can help build it up
100%.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is what I said too, because I go up to Big Bear all the time. I mean, I know you guys see my Instagram, and I'm up there every other weekend, if not every weekend, just because of the environment. Like how I say, the speed of everything is a lot different. People's anxiety is not there. Just it's a beautiful environment. I mean, that's why I like going to those Lake Gregory practices with Alpha Empire, because it changes the whole dynamic of things, and it really brings the community together as itself. And when I saw that tournament, man, I like lit up because it's in one of my cities that I go to constantly. And it's one of the things like with arm wrestling, you want to get more exposure towards it. And it's like two beautiful things kind of coinciding together. And then, hey, guess what? We have this amazing practice at Lake Gregory now where everyone from Bruheim kind of gets like a little bit of a different scene. Bruheim's awesome and I love it, but it's nice to switch it up into something to where Lake Gregory's has, I mean, literally the lake, beautiful mountain areas, beautiful trees, a lot of greenery, dirt.
Nice conditions, weather.
Exactly. It's like literally perfect conditions, at least for people who like outdoors and things like that.
Yeah.
And to get one of the practices there, it's amazing just to help out expose arm wrestling to the areas where it's really hard to get it out there in the first place. So I just shout out to Josh for that, from Nowhere to Run for that, because we need people like him to be able to put this out more in these hard to reach places. So I just wanted to say shout out to Josh for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, Josh is in the chat right now. Yeah, good to see you here. And yeah, the way they didn't know that we were doing the Lake Gregory practice and everything. And I didn't know that was being worked on either. So, more having too much arm wrestling is a great problem. I've always believed that. So ideally, if anybody does want to come to that tournament and compete on Saturday, what I'm hoping they do is take advantage of this. It's beautiful up here right now. If you want information on motels, hotels, B&Bs up here, hit me up. Let me know. I can tell you, so yeah, basically what I'm saying is, yeah, get yourself a cabin up here for the full weekend, go compete, and then come to Lake Gregory. It's actually on the way back down the mountain. If you're not interested in competing yet, you just want to practice, come to the Gregory practice on Sunday. It's the first stop up the mountain. It's still forest, a lake, a mountain, but it's only like 25 minutes-ish up from the base. But yeah, if you go up to Big Bear, get yourself a cabin up there, or coming down the mountain towards Crestline. In Crestline, there's a cheap one called, I think, Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, Sleepy Hollow's a good one, real close. There's another one right next to Tito's Mexican restaurant. And then there's just a shit ton of B&Bs.
What about the Kane Fontecchio resident? No, I'm just playing.
I wish our house was big enough to do that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you guys bring a sleeping bag, you're welcome to pitch a sleeping bag and a tent in the back. You won't need a tent, but yeah. Actually, when we first moved up here, Malia found a service called Hip Camp. It's like an app where you can actually rent out your backyard or your property or whatever to camp in, and we did it. And we don't like have a lot of property. It's like it's okay, but like yeah, we'd have like these families of 7 with these giant like glamping tents and stuff like that in our backyard. And our neighbors like started complaining and everything like that. And then the city came out and they're like, you're not permitted for this. But there was like a good, I don't know, year where we were renting our backyard to a shitload of people while we were getting settled up here. But there was one epic dude. Like, most everybody that came to camp in our backyard, yeah, there was like full glamping. They like brought, everything. But there was one dude in the middle of winter. It was freezing at night. He shows up with a backpack and a sleeping bag. And I'm like, dude, you need anything? He's like, no. And I went to check on him later, and like all he had was a sleeping bag, just like out in, our backyard, and like, yeah, sub-zero temperatures. And yeah, he just came to crash in a sleeping bag and then took off. Like,
Sounds like Dan from Old Man Strength.
yeah, right.
Hey, so I wanted to throw something your way towards Travis and Kane. Now, Travis is over here breaking every arm wrestler's heart over here with frying pans and rice videos on his reels. And it's somewhat, it works, but I know it's rage bait. But Kane, I want to know, besides Travis messing with everybody and getting popular off of it, I hate you, Travis. But Kane, tell me, like, what's something good to train for these kind of tournaments, like last second for an amateur? Let's say I'm nervous to pull up against other people who have way more experience towards me. All of a sudden, this new tournament pops up, and I want to participate. I'm not really sure if I'm going to win, if I can place, if I'll even get a pin. Like, I want to get introduced to the sport. So what's something good for me to prep for, like, last minute tournament? And I know it's like a bombshell thing, and it's dependent on every person and their development skills and strength. But for you, like, what's your opinion on that? Besides Travis and his frying pan.
Yeah. The final, well, I definitely think maintenance is important for almost anybody. It just depends on what that level of maintenance is going to look like. I don't think somebody should be doing nothing leading up to a tournament, even the week of. Like, even if it's very light bands, just to keep working and keeping those things awake and working is good. Just as long as there's not enough pressure that it's causing you to be like sore the next day or whatever. But a big portion of that final week is psychological, and that is going to vary from person to person. I can tell you like what it's like for me, but then there's a lot of better competitors like Mike Linder or Caleb. When you asked me about Mike Linder earlier, Devin, like that's one of the big things that separates Mike Linder for me. You know, I think he's fundamentally strong, and I think we're close at practice, but when it comes to pulling in a competition, like that's the guy you want to talk to, because he's just a different beast. He knows how to cut weight. He knows how to show up psychologically correct, and how he needs to show up to be like the best version of himself. Um, for me, where I'm kind of evolving with that is, yeah, trying to keep everything awake, but also familiarity with the table. I'm not the guy that skips practice the week before a tournament. And the reason why is at this point, I have the ability to have control over my practice. The first couple years, it was just too exciting for me. Like I would end up, you know, pulling hard with everybody that's stronger than me for 5 hours straight a week before a competition because I couldn't help myself. But now it's like, okay, I'm gonna take you, and this is what I'm gonna do, you know, and usually it's gonna be just getting blood flowing and feeling every mechanic. I might do reps, light reps where they're not providing pressure of what different moves I might be considering using at that tournament. But yeah, the familiarity with a table I think is really, really important the week leading up. If anybody hasn't seen the episode of Santino Bravo called Santino Says, it was probably like 2-3 months ago. We did a special of him talking about just tournament prep, and it was brilliant. His tournament prep it's really good, and he covered every aspect about it, everything to, you know, bringing every type of band to an event, what that week before looks like, what that month before looks like, and it's very similar to what I'm explaining now. But when you have those nerves that you're talking about going into a last minute event, one of the things he mentioned that I 100% agree with is show up early and get up on those tables. Get on the stage. Like get on the stage, even if you're alone, and just feel how those elbow pads feel. Feel how that particular table feels, and feel what it feels like to be on that stage. You know, break the ice for yourself up there. It actually calms the nerves, I think, for a lot of people. Or if you can get somebody up there with you that you trust enough to give just light pressure and go through the motions. And with warm up before a tournament, I used to do what everyone else did, which is go up there and like roll your wrist around and do weird shit like that. And you know, like really light stuff, but you're just like working kinks out, which did nothing for me. For me, I only do that like roll your wrist and let's do this and like this and stuff. If I have kinks that actually, if there's like weird little pops or sticky points inside my wrist that kind of need to be flexed out, then yeah, I'll do that. But the most important thing before actually competing is waking up your connection. So you'll see a lot of the top level arm wrestlers, if you watch them warm up right before an event, they're going pretty hard. They're finding another experienced person up there to really ignite everything, the connection, you know, from their trap to their shoulder, their bicep, their pec connection, and really getting that woken up. Because for a lot of us, you'll go 0-2 and never really wake that up. You know what I mean? You'll just get pinned.
Yeah, I agree with you on that 1,000% because one thing I've talked about with Brandon Prodigy from Alpha Empire is your experiences on the tables, really your prep time is going to end up showing on the table, because when you pull cold, your fast twitch fibers or your strength fibers that be able to catch a strong hit or a fast hit normally, if it's not properly warmed up, or even if you feel somewhat okay and it's loose and it's not warm, you're not going to be able to react the same way. So I agree with you on that 100%. And as far as it goes with like pulling hard, yeah, like as hard as it takes to be able to activate what you're trying to do and what you're trying to get to, I feel like that's a big part of fundamentals too that's not talked about. That's why you see the pros with their arm sleeves staying warm and staying like really tight connected. Anything that you could give up to your opponent in a tournament, they're gonna take advantage of it. So that was a good point. I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
I will say, for North versus South, I actually warmed up Mega Mike, and of course, I had to use both hands. But I was surprised. All he did, we went back and forth to stretch maybe 3 or 4 times. I gave him a little bit of back pressure, or I don't know. We went back and forth maybe 3 or 4 times, and then I used double hands, and he did 5 hard hits on ready goes. And he's like, "That's it." He's like, he just needed those 5 hits just to wake everything up, and he didn't do anything else. I think a lot of people, don't really hit and wake themselves up, rather than just. It's almost like you're, if you're lifting, you got to work your way up to your max lift, to wake everything up. You don't just go in there and stretch. You got to have those boom, ready, go, boom, ready, go. It just wakes up your nervous system as well. But I was surprised when I warmed up Mike. That's all he did, and I was like, "That's it." He's like, "Yep." Like he just needed like 5 ready goes, hard hits, just to connect everything, get his nervous system woke up, and he was good.
Yep. Yeah, I'll never forget. It was at a grinder tournament that Travis Bajent ran like, I don't know, maybe a year or two into the sport for me. But before the event started, yeah, Alan Fisher was in our class, and his warm up, what he did 10 reps of like the Alan Fisher hit, that serious, crazy, like fast hit with somebody that was probably mostly giving it up. But yeah, not only did it intimidated everybody in there, including the super heavyweights that knew they were going to go against him in the overalls. But yeah, like he was legit going into a full hit to wake up his most important move. But yeah, I mean that's gonna differ for everybody, and you gotta um, for me, like there was a point in practice when we get into the sport where we're trying to build a foundation, right? But then there's a point if you compete where all of your practice is geared around competition. I know exactly what I'm competing in until like spring of next year. And my practice is all geared towards those things. So I guess what I mean by that is, you're not only controlling the programming of what you need at practice, the how much pressure, the type of mechanics you want to work on, but also you're paying attention to where you do feel the strongest. Is it 2 hours into practice? Like when do you feel woke up and ready to compete, and then what do you have to do to achieve that? But a lot of that, I feel like perfecting how you are in competition happens in practice, so long as you're leading your practice in a form to relate to competition. If that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel at my strongest when I show up to practice like 2 hours before it ends and everyone's beat up, and I,
Yeah.
put.
Yeah, me
No,
too, man. Yeah.
I wanted to ask something for Mr. Risk Cracker. So, bro, I know you were rage baiting and somewhat serious, but how's that video doing, and how are you handling your newfound fame?
So wait. Catch me up. Did he
Travis, go
like
ahead,
go
Travis.
viral from the frying pan video? Is that what we're referring to?
It took off on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, I'm caught up now.
there's like over 100 likes, like a lot of East Coast armrests. Yeah, it's pretty
I could see that. Okay.
and honestly, I think Mr. Linder is just an animal because he's a cook as well, and he holds a frying pan all day as well. Just letting you guys know that.
Okay. All right.
So keep an eye on the cooks out there. They're strong for a reason. They hold
My
the
opinion-
pans.
In my opinion, no workout is dumb. What I do might not work for you, but what you do might be fucking retarded in my eyes, but will, show results. You gotta try it all. If it makes sense, do it.
You know what? I originally did that video just because I think this will be funny. I think it'll be funny, and I arm wrestled a guy that was just a brick wall, like I stated. But I couldn't even move him. He's a cook. He's bigger dude. He was like 240 pounds. But couldn't even move him. Though. He was like arm wrestling, make a Mike or a Derek. You know what I mean? It's like a brick wall. But I'm like, what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm a cook. And then thinking back, and then arm wrestling Mike Linder, I'm like, Mike's a cook too. And he's like, oh, he cooks what, 12 hours, 10 hours a day, whatever. I'm like, okay, well, that's like all they do is they're cooks. So I'm like, hey, that might work. Literally, I put the weights in the pan, and then for the next 4 days, the entire top of my arm was just fried. I'm like, all right. I mean, hey, I'm just gonna
Right.
add it in,
Right.
right? No
No
pun intended.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm gonna add it in at least once a week and see if it makes a difference. And every time I do it, I'm like, it hurts. It hurts so bad for the next 3 or 4 days. I'm like, okay, well maybe there's like a new like little muscle group in there that's being targeted or something. But it looks stupid. But I'm gonna keep doing videos. My next videos, I'm gonna stack like soda cans in it. Um, I'm gonna see how long I can hold like soda cans, and then the next video will be like I'll put my kid in this frying pan or something stupid. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right,
So-
that was a little
Viral for sure.
extreme, but
Yeah.
that's like Mexican moms with chanclas
But
just
it's
getting ready to load it.
it's just funny. People are like, what is this idiot doing? You know what I mean? So it's like, but at the same time, it's like funny and it's like a workout too. So I'm like, oh, it's humor. It's humor. You got to add like. I'm gonna be honest, like everybody does the same arm wrestling workouts, and I'm just like, okay, like everybody's doing the same stuff. I'm gonna do something different, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh well, I had fun doing it. That's just what it is. Arm wrestling isn't a high paying sport. It's not a serious sport for a lot of people, but for me, it's like I'm gonna try a different workout and see how much shit somebody could talk on my video, like see how much clicks I can get. You know what I mean? Like it's just humorous to me. That's all it is. So.
If I can intervene with like two more things because I have questions and I never have really famous people like y'all on with this opportunity. But Will, what is your path, brother? What is your path? What is best for Will right now? What is going on with Will? Because I'm late to the party and I'm hearing things and I know your strength. Like, what's going on, Will? What's going on, dog? Come on.
I just got over saying that you need to stop thinking about me as someone special, is what I said.
You're always special in my heart.
Well, I appreciate that, bro. But there's no real path for me, you know? Like, I enjoy arm wrestling, but I'm not doing much of it. I want to because now I'm getting injured, and that sucks because now I can't do what I love to do. I don't love it enough to get as good as I could be. Like, anyone could be better than they are, you know? We all have to put in the work, but I'm not putting in any work, and now I'm getting hurt. And my path right now is to stop doing that and to at least do something, you know, to supplement my, love for the sport.
So what's going on like in terms of that? Because in terms of injuries, like what do you mean? Like, because I get little pains and aches too, but I'm only like a few months younger than you. And I mean, I know what you're talking about because I feel like after 24, it's like all downhill in terms of being able to have tolerance and things like that. But that's just me. I mean,
All right,
but
well,
what do you feel?
in my opinion, like I've been in the sport for like 8 years now.
Yeah.
So I went hard as fuck for like the first 4 years. And since 2020, I haven't done anything. So now that nothing is catching up to me because I'm not doing anything. You know, I'll pull one day and I'll be hurt, but I go back to practice the next week and I'm like, fuck it, and it just keeps compounding because I'm not doing any recovery. I'm not doing any rehab. I'm doing nothing. So now I'm getting injured because it's finally catching up to me.
So is it like a love-hate relationship? And you just like it's more of a hobby thing as in terms of a passion. I mean, I know it's gonna always be a passion, but for the drive to like be competitive and want to be first and stuff. Because bro, I've seen your pulls and you're one of the people that I've seen where you watch it on the UAL tournaments on YouTube or the past events on like Benjimac's channel or like Darius, so just past things. And I'm like, holy crap. I hope to one day to like strive to be able to get that. And so like it's like an awkward spot to see that because like dang, I missed where that incline of Will's best or height, competitively where you thought you were at. Like I just wanted to see more of that. But in terms of that, so you trying to just more so back off just because of the injuries and you want to take care of your health. And then maybe once that becomes straight, you'll come back to it more harder, or are you just looking to like slowly taper off and just be one of those guys who can kind of help out the younger people like me who don't really know what we're doing and we're trying to like we look up to guys like you. So I just wanted to get like your perspective on that.
Well, okay, so it doesn't matter how injured I am or how much I feel I can pull, I can always help out anybody. You know, it doesn't like if you're new, chances are even at my condition, you know, I could easily help you pull through, you do whatever it is that you want to do and help you do that. That's honestly how I practice. Like I let anybody do whatever they want. I never hit nobody at practice unless they get too ballsy and they're like doing some crazy shit like Michael Brown would do. But I love Mike. I'm not saying him, but just people that do that aren't
Yeah.
him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I'll always help somebody. But I don't know, life, man. I just have shit that just keeps me from doing anything. Like I might need to see a therapist. I might be depressed about something, but I just don't do shit. I go to work, I come home, I drink a beer, and I just live. I pay my bills, I go to work, I come home, I don't want to do shit. I
Yeah,
don't know. That's just where I'm at right now.
That's definitely depression.
I'm gonna try and tie in a couple things here. One, welcoming Todd Colazzo. What's up, Todd? And we've got a
What's up,
couple
gentlemen?
teammates in the chat as well. We've got Imad in the house, Javier
Imad sucks.
Martinez. We've also got Jaden Knight Sr. is in the house, one of our former teammates and veterans. He says that's why people with jobs where they use their hands a lot do good in arm wrestling. I think that's reverting back to the frying pan thing. And be it a frying pan or, you know, dumbbells or just table time or whatever, the best, I truly believe this, and a lot of people know this to be true. The best form of training is going to be the one that you can stay consistent with. So if you're consistent with those frying pans, and you're getting the heavier cast iron ones, as they're getting easier, basically implementing what Todd Colazzo has been doing with his son Elijah, you're going to find success. And where I'm seeing a lot of the way I'm like understanding or computing your injuries is the lack of that pretty much. So you've got this big background in arm wrestling where you can pull a lot of people heavier than you really
That's fun.
really well. Right. But now you're not doing all that conditioning. You're not doing that consistency or anything like that. And the injury that you just said on the show earlier was Derek Smith making an adjustment on you in
No,
practice.
I was making the adjustment.
Derek's okay.
So,
With
yeah.
Derek Smith. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The smallest guy on
California's
the
number
planet.
one super heavyweight. Right.
He wasn't
No.
putting any pressure. He was putting a little bit, enough to stop me, which I guess is a lot to somebody, but it doesn't, I don't ever get that. And I try to do something and something just popped. And we looked at each other like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, I don't know, man. And my arm still moves, so I knew I wasn't in that bad of shape, but I can't cup with my pinky, if that makes sense. Yeah. I can't do that without a lot of pain coming in my elbow, like a lot, to where like I'm like,
yeah,
damn, I should probably go see somebody.
Yeah. Just
So
more
what's keeping you from taking like BPC or stem cells or something? Because I feel like that would be able to help. I mean, at least somewhat a little bit.
I'm broke, my man.
Oh, okay. Me too, man.
Yeah.
That stuff's expensive.
Yeah, I get my dad Todd to buy it for me. Todd Colazzo. No,
Yeah, right. I can't afford that stuff. No way.
Todd, we're gonna need you to taper down on your son's training because he's catching up too fast. And I'm only 5'8", and he's already 2 inches taller than me. Can you just like feed
It's
back?
so funny, dude. You're so dumb. Let me just say this. First of all, what are you doing on the show? That's the first thing. But anyways, but I'm just kidding.
Fuck yeah, Todd.
That's okay. We'll replace you with Devin. So anyways, he's got bigger muscles. Anyway, I'm just
super match.
I love you. You know I love you, Andrew. You're an inspiration to my son. All you guys are. Know what the hell Travis is doing with that pan. I kind of caught the last and that was so funny. I said, Elijah, look at this guy. But don't call him any names. Just look at it. We love Travis.
But you do have to cook at least once a day. Usually.
Hey, no, it makes sense. It's just a cool. The thing I love about Travis is he's not afraid to put things out there, right? He's gonna be himself. He's gonna put things out there. You see it for what it is, and you just accept it. It's cool, man. And things like that can actually, joking or serious, can actually inspire you for ideas you might have that nobody even knows about it. So it connects. It's cool. Don't Elijah doesn't count. He's 15. For God's sakes, if he gets hurt, he's better in 2 days.
Travis, you got pinned, but no, I'm playing.
Yeah. No,
Wait.
no, that doesn't count either. That's
Hey, you know what though? Sorry, Todd. When Andrew is talking about like how do we prep, right? How do we prep the week of for like a newcomer, whatever the case is? The number one thing in this sport is by far speed. Speed kills.
Yeah.
So everybody is always saying be first. If you're not first, you're already on the wrong side of the table.
Ricky
So
Bobby.
if you beat that person to your spot, you already have that advantage. So I mean, if you're gonna prep for anything, prep for your start, prep for your speed, because that's gonna be your biggest advantage in any tournament.
so you're right. So the thing about speed is it's everything, right? We all know that. But the thing about speed is it only counts as good as your hand is. Because if you don't have back pressure in a hand, you can be as fast as you want, and you're going to land up going without your arm.
Yeah.
And then you're vulnerable, and you get your wrist turned. And we learned that the first UAL. So everything we learned, again, there's no losses, just only learning experiences in this sport. And so I said, okay, so we got to work on your back pressure, and definitely we got to get your hand together, and we got to get that wrist connection. And so we isolate every single thing that we learned from all the guys like Kane and all the guys at Alpha, and we learn at the Arm Fest as well. Everybody's got information, man, from the beginners all the way to the pros. And then of course you include that from the people on YouTube. You can't implement everything because some of the stuff they're doing is advanced for where they're at physically, but you can learn a lot from it and take pieces and parts. And that's all I've done. I'm a baseball coach that's been converted the last year and a half to arm wrestling. So I've taken those principles from baseball and how we drill to death. Everything is a mechanic. The baseball swing has 8 movements to bring it into one. The going around a ball on the middle infield, which I'm a specialist at. My son played shortstop and second base. There's like 20 things that look like one thing when you see a guy that does it well. And I noticed that that's what arm wrestling is. So all I've done is take my baseball experience, absorb everything with humility from all the guys and the pros and the amateurs from the club. A guy like Derek Trung, you can learn a lot from. The guy's a freaking scientist, right? So we just take it, and then I implement it in workouts that I've learned from YouTube and things that people have suggested with Elijah. And the cool thing about Elijah is he's not a huge kid and he's not a small kid. He's kind of like in the middle, and he's stocky. So he's got the foundation to be able to work with, and he loves working out. He's like addicted to it. So it's so easy because he's loving the process, right? And the thing is, like Kane said, what works for you, keep doing it. And then even if you do something that doesn't work, that's a good lesson to learn, and then make adjustments and keep going. But stay consistent. And part of that consistency, and I'll say this, the last thing, is also knowing when to take a break. So right now, like this week, Elijah's doing nothing. He's icing. He's taking warm baths, and that's it. You know, maybe a little bit of resistance bands just to feel his strength. He's resting this week. So the way we prepare for tournaments is we've taken advice from all the pros on TV and at the club. And with Elijah, we would do a week, and we kind of narrowed that down to 5 days. So we would do the therapy that we do on Mondays. We do a light workout on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, he would rest because he's an amateur. So he would go on Sundays, and that seems to work best for him. But that's it. But the whole experience is fun. It's not like, oh, I got to go to work and you drag yourself into the gym. Nah, you just have to love the process.
Bro, your kid's an animal. Your son Elijah is literally what it goes to show when you have a parent's love and support and backing, and they truly believe in you. That's what I say. Like, Elijah is gonna go far with that because of the kind of father that you are, like AKA Kane with his future baby girl.
Yeah, man, Kane's awesome.
Yeah, it's like
Kane,
that
puts
really
me to shame. I was not like that when my kids were babies.
It's Kane's awesome. A special type of father. You guys didn't wish what I had. But one last question before I permanently shut up. Devin, you are massive as heck. I want to say that I was literally screaming behind you every time you were pulling, because you're one of those guys that's just like abnormally freaking huge. Like people can take whatever they want or not, whatever it's in your genetics or not, and it's in your blood or you're not. You're one of those dudes that I want to see. Like, I feel like if you were to climb the hand a little more on some of the people that are like, I mean, your division, Devin's like straight freaking animals. You can't avoid everybody in your class that's strong because they're all strong. Like that's the weight class that you're in because you're a freak of nature. But like, what are you doing for your training? And if you are gonna compete at this Big Bear tournament, like what's your game plan for it? Because dude, you're one of those dudes who's like me, but you're a lot bigger, but in your own weight class. And I feel like if you would just have that little slight adjustment, there's nobody who'd be able to get past your bicep and a hook or your shoulder, let alone if you get behind it.
That's
But
why
you
you
just
don't go
started,
there. You
right?
take
You
his
just started,
hand.
right, Devin? You just started.
Yeah, I've been at it consistently about 8 weeks now.
Yeah, see? So he hasn't even forget about it. Wait till a year.
Yeah, and the one thing I noticed is that at practice, a lot of people, I could pull with, but I'm just going to pull, and not really. There's a lot of people I can't really pick their brains and get the answers. When Kane's there, Kane's a guy I can grip up with. I could pull Derek, but Derek can't. How do I say? Derek's so strong to where, if I can't really overpower him. I feel like if me and Kane are in certain positions, if I'm in doing something correctly, I can almost pull through Kane, rather than Derek is going to have to just give it up. So I like to pull with people like Kane or Ricky, and just pick their brain. Other than that, after I competed at Anaheim, I just had to watch my videos. And right away, as soon as I saw it, before I even showed anybody else the videos, I noticed right away what I was doing wrong. I would just go for the pin right away, even before I even sent Derek the videos, rather than setting up. And I was working on top roll so much, I was kind of trying to do like a high hook top roll, which I mean, I don't know why I didn't just hook with some of those guys, which I should have done. But I was going for the pin right away rather than just grabbing control. If I can get a hold of somebody and be comfortable in learning the technique, I think everything else will just kind of come together. But it's just, there's so many moving parts in arm wrestling, and there's so many scenarios, and just as much defense as there is offense, or what to do to counter this move. It's almost like somebody who does jiu-jitsu, like there's just so many counters and ways you don't want to get yourself into a dangerous spot or where you're going to give up too much to let your opponent compromise. So I try to ask as many questions as I can. But I guess that's about it. I don't know. I don't really know. What else did you ask? What else were you asking?
Well, no, I was just trying to see because like before when you were just like kind of in and out of it, not really taking it seriously. Like, I mean, I was probably a few months in, but I was taking it seriously. And I mean, I know there's that weight advantage, but when I felt your strength, it was like that different level of strength. So it's like how you were saying, if you could just get into certain spots. So I feel like if you get those little weak points that allow you to get to your strong points, I mean, it'd be like a different ball game. Because I think too in a hook, bro, like with somebody with your size and your arms, it'd just be a different story for most people.
Yeah, I think my strongman background carries over well in certain aspects. I have a lot of because a lot of it's still technique I'm still learning, and there's still a lot of little muscles I need to catch up. But in terms of pulling in, if it's just straight, not arm wrestling, you just put me up against some weight. Yeah, I'm national level of strength when it comes to pulling in. Or I think pharma carries in my grip. I used to pharma carry 315 pounds in each hand for 50 feet back and forth, every week. So I think that carries over a lot. My forearms just naturally are pretty fucking strong. I'm not saying naturally, just from lifting for so long. But yeah, I think there's other little muscles, that need to catch up. Because when I do my arm wrestling lifts, man, I'm so freaking sore in certain muscles that I didn't even know I really had. I never really pronated on anything.
Yeah.
I never really supinated unless I was doing a bicep curl. But and my main thing though, when it comes to training now is I would definitely say condition. Because my arms blow up so fast. But this last Sunday, even my arm was blowing up. I kept telling Kane, like, no, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. That's what something I need to get used to. And you're only going to get conditioned more once you start passing that. You start running, as soon as you get tired, you don't just stop. That's how you just keep progressing and progressing. But I think my conditioning and learning all the techniques is what needs to catch up to everything else.
So Kane, with what Devin is saying, and I like everything he's saying. It's so cool. So I'm just thinking out loud, and if I'm wrong, correct me. So he's already strong. He's already powerful. Obviously, this technique deficiency is just because he's just starting, and that's everybody. And I still put Elijah in that category, and he's learning. But so I'm thinking statics, right, to build up tendons, because when he gets into those funky positions and you're getting pulled from different angles that you're not used to, with powerlifting, it's one angle for a lift or whatever, or a couple of angles, right? But with arm wrestling, there's a lot of different angles and a lot of pulls and back pressure and side pressure and all the 9 yards. And you find yourself in different positions. You have to develop those tendons to be able to deal with that kind of stuff. And if not, then you'll end up feeling some pain and stuff. And even the JM presses that we started really early in, Elijah, like, I don't want to say never, but almost never feels elbow pain, because we took Derek's advice with those JM presses, and we started, like, I think the second month he was in it, we started with those, and we work very light. You're not supposed to work those heavy, Johnny Dang. You just work light, you just do it, and you don't try to hurt yourself or overdo it. I think all that stuff will help you, Devin, because you've already got the package. Now it's just a matter of training for sports specific, right?
Yeah, so that's one thing I did today, because Kane was even saying on Sunday, I need to work on a lot of static holds to condition those joints and condition my muscle stamina. Like I said, I just call it, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yep, exactly. And here's another thing, and this is just advice. I'm not a professional or anything. We saw a video a long time ago, and I shared it with Andrew, and I think Travis. I think you guys have done it with us. I'm not sure though if Travis did it, but I think he did. And we do this thing that we learned from Daniel Prokopchak, and he does this drop set weight exercise. And there's different things that you can do with drop sets, different stuff. But we do a particular one with pronation, where we pull from the pulley system that comes at a 85, 90 degree angle, not 90 degree, but like an 80, 75 degree angle. And you hold the weight for so many seconds until you're ready to get some of the weight dropped. And there's somebody over there by the weights, and they pull the weights off. We drop anywhere from 2.5 to 5 pounds of weight off of the total weight, and you have to stay in this positive 45 degree angle, like you've got somebody pinned, but he's hit a sticking point. So now it becomes the war of attrition. Can you hold him there? Is he going to pull as he surges? And you drop the weight maybe 4 or 5 times, and then I usually count down 5 seconds, and then he has to pin him. And that one set usually takes about 25 seconds, and it really builds up endurance that translates to the table. It's a cool exercise. Yeah. Daniel Prokopchak does it, and it's something. Check out his videos, 201 Arm Wrestling. Right. And you'll learn a lot. He does a lot of vector stuff and pretty cool things.
Today I didn't do the drop sets, but I had just minimal weight on. I think I had 40 pounds on there, but I was doing them for 2 minutes. And I had the martial arts belt around me as working on supination and hooking. But I don't think it's beneficial to. I just thought of it as myself. I mean, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I was sitting there holding it, and then throughout my hold, I start switching and getting into other positions. Because when you're in arm wrestling, you're not just like this.
No, it's good.
You need to transition and hold here, and then go back and hold here. Because in arm wrestling, you're not just in one static. So I kept doing that for 2 minutes, and then at the end of that 2 minutes, I would work on the pin.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, but I just because that's the first time I've done that. I just started with 40 pounds isn't very. I mean, not very much for me, but it's gonna. I can't just throw on what I can do max right away, and then my arm's gonna be toast. Just gotta apply that much force. It's everything else. There's little muscles that aren't really realizing. That's why I just minimal weight for like 2 minutes each set. Did 4 sets each arm, but that's something I need to really implement a lot more.
Yeah, it'll really help you big time, man.
Sure.
If
cool.
Devin is extremely calculated and careful and controlled, and also trains for where he is in arm wrestling, putting all the strongman background and powerlifting aside, then in 6 to 9 months, there's going to be a period. Leroy Walker, I've been seeing, he's like there right now because he came in about 6-9 months ago, and he's been consistent with it. We're going to see that with Devin, I think.
Oh yeah.
Where you start seeing everything that comes from Devin's background and genetics actually coming to full fruition in this sport. But it won't happen. You'll either injure yourself out, Devin, or find it too volatile of a path to push forward for if it's not controlled and realistic in terms of where you are at with this, especially for you because you have so much strength behind what needs to be conditioned. So there's just so much path for injury. So yeah, that's why we've been working a lot on statics and recovery and very productive table time. So I think for a lot of those statics and endurance training, it's tough for us, especially when we're new. I think the most beneficial period is at practice to do that with a human. At the last mountain practice, one of the training drills that we did was long holds where we put a timer on for 2 minutes. I've done it for 5. I think it's great, where you try and like calculate it with your partner to only go. It might be, you might agree on 30%, you might agree on 70%, depending on how much time you're holding for, and hold there in a static. And then when that timer goes off, then you're going to arm wrestle from there for a pin. There's so many ways that you can work on endurance, but so the path of consistency to me, it's just we have to be honest with ourselves, I think, is the most important thing. Like you said, Todd, there's so much information out there, not just within your own team. You've got different people at different levels in your own team and different coaches at different levels on your own team. But you've got that on YouTube. You've got that within your surrounding state and community and everything like that. Different sizes of people and levels and experience and conditioning within the sport. And you have to be really realistic and honest in terms of where you're at, what your body stature is at. And we only get so much time per week to train. So if you really want it to be productive, it has to be streamlined to what you need at this point in your training and in your trajectory. It's very easy, especially we all get the bug in arm wrestling starting out. You have the bug, and then you see all this information. You want to do everything. And honestly, like what impresses me the most with Elijah, Todd, is and how you work with him is not just the consistency, but it's how much you guys have formulaically put into that program. You do a lot. You do a lot of different things, but you actually do it productively, which is rare.
Thank you.
For most people, especially with jobs or whatever, you have to be honest with yourself in terms of what time you have to train, what is going to keep you consistent, and what you need to do in terms of that. If you're just in your first year or two of the sport, does that mean that you need to be productive and getting your strength gains on the table at practice once a week, and then just doing recovery and volume all week up until that table time happens? There's a good possibility of that. Is there a strong possibility of seeing all that information of what top level guys are doing in the sport that have been pulling and conditioning for 20 years and implementing that into your training? Could that hurt you? 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
one thing I've noticed, I don't need to work on, a lot of people do heavy hammer curls, stuff like, I don't need to do that. I can grab, heavy ass hammer, dumbbells and do hammer curls. That doesn't really benefit me right now because everything else isn't on the same level. That's why a lot of those other stuff.
I feel like, I have the powerlifting background. Devin has strongman, but I'm sure he would probably do a lot better in powerlifting as opposed to how I am because he's a lot stronger. But for me, I remember when everyone was telling me you kind of have to, in order to be like in the top of your class, you have to literally dedicate yourself to it. I agree with that. And I see what you're saying, Kane, because I was benching 4 plates, squatting 6, whatever. I was doing my thing, right? And I still do somewhat of that, but it's probably like 100 pounds less just for my content creation to like mess around with, because you can't consistently try to overexpand yourself when arm wrestling already destroys everything from somewhat of your pec and your shoulders and your triceps, biceps, brachialis, supinatus, all that stuff, right? And not to mention if your joints and ligaments can even withstand one type of training like that. And then going across many different platforms, like someone like Devin or like me or specific people just do so many things. It's hard to try to balance everything. So for arm wrestling specifics, it's really good to just kind of slowly taper off. If it's something you really love, to taper off of the other things slowly but surely to a certain point where you'll be happy with the level of consistency, even if you don't train for it heavy or hard or the weight that you would play around with normally, because what it's going to give in returns for arm wrestling is going to be much greater. And personally, I'd have to say, as an athlete of many different trades, arm wrestling has been one of the things that returns to the athletes more, because the community itself is what supports arm wrestling. And there's not really too many sports that can give you the same return in terms of rewards and like clout, or where you can go with this community. But I definitely agree with that, Kane. It's one of those things where you got to really kind of dial in that road, because yeah, your training is really going to end up determining how far you can go in terms of strength.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. There's things like that, like the JM presses. I have to do my own form of that. I don't do it in the traditional form with a fixed bar. I can't, because it hurts. It hurts me. Like, it doesn't feel natural for me. I actually have to do them with bands. Um,
That's
uh,
good. You could do
yeah,
that.
I
Yeah,
actually
for
have to
sure.
do them that way. It frees up my wrist a little bit. I almost hate anything with a fixed bar. My hands and wrists are built so much and trained so much to a form of stabilization versus dynamics that it hurts to do fixed bar things in a way that does not, you know,
It's hard to replicate what you're getting on the
it does
table
not
with the
rep
barbell,
yeah, it
because
does
it
not
won't move the
replicate
same.
that. Right.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I'm alluding to is, so especially when you're starting out in arm wrestling, but you have a lifting background, um, almost inevitably your lifting program or how you're used to lifting is going to change, and your ability to recover is going to change. So I think the best way to evolve and temporarily adjust like your thinking so that you can still get as much productivity as possible is transition those, whatever those heavy days are that you would normally have in the gym where you're trying to hit big numbers, transition those into table time with a human, and then be smart about how you do it. And then everything in the gym, you can still do more of those foundational things, whether you're working in 20 reps or more, and whatever weight relates to that. So that you're still keeping a foundation, but you're primarily recovering and conditioning. Because on the table, let's just do the math. If you're used to doing heavy lifting, but arm wrestling is screwing all that up for you to, practice on Sunday and then go on Wednesday and try and hit PRs in the gym or whatever, but you're still conditioning yourself on those Sundays, you're never going to make gains. Your numbers are going to go down on Wednesdays. You're going to feel like you have no endurance on Sundays. But if you do the math in terms of on a table with a human, for example, like if me and Devin are pulling on a table, and I know he's connected, I'm sitting here thinking when we're deep in a hook, okay, how much does Devin curl? How much can Devin curl with his bicep? But
Probably
wait,
are a lot.
but wait, his shoulders engaged too. How much can he do in a front shoulder raise? His pec is engaged too. He's giving me a little side pressure. How much can he fly? How much can he do in a pec fly? And now he's got all this locked, and connected really well, his lat, how much can he lat row, with one arm? Now, how much does Devin weigh? Because now that all that's connected, he's dropping all of his body weight on top of me too. So it's hard because if you're a lifter, you want to think of everything in terms of the plates and the numbers and what they represent. You can track those and go up. It's a lot harder to do with arm wrestling. There's a lot of dynamics involved. You can't really track that. But I promise you, the amount of pressure, especially if you're going against somebody that's connected and knows how to use all of those things, it's exponential. It's very huge. So if you can take that and mathematically use it to do strength gains, not like go find your Devin who can lift all these, monumental amount of weights and say, let's do some ready goes and like rib it up. Who can pin who? No, I want to go into a deep hook. We're going to work between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Let's stay static and revolve for, 3 minutes, 4 minutes or whatever, we're working on different angles, but actually trying to treat it like you're lifting, and doing it safely, working your side pressure so you can start feeling that elbow and putting realistic pressure on it. Like at my gym, when I go there and do chest flies, I do them with one arm so I can go all the way across, but I'm lifting the whole stack doing it, and it's still not compared to arm wrestling somebody that's decently strong, in a deep hook, just primarily doing side pressure. So if that whole thing is translated into table time, I think it could be really, really productive.
So Kane, that's the athletic part of the sport.
Right.
So when my son Anthony, he's always messing with Elijah, the older brother, doing his older brother thing, right? And he's a really cool kid. He's nice, but he picks on him sometimes. And he it's not a sport. It's not an athletic sport, And Elijah was a freaking killer baseball player when he was playing. But no, there is an athleticism to it. That's what it is. The ability to feel with the hand, to make the adjustments, how to move your body. There's footwork involved. There's millimeter of angles. It's unlimited, and all that stuff makes a difference. If you're close in strength, if you're not strong enough, and the guy just got you overpowered, it's not going to matter. He can be his first time arm wrestling. He's going to take you down. But if you're competitive with the guys you're pulling, that's the athletic part of it, man. To be quick in transition and knowing how to go from a top row or defensive top row, or go aggressive on the hit, or go into a hook, or just static with the guy and win the center and try to wear him out and have endurance. That's the athletic part. So people really need to start looking at arm wrestling as an athletic sport. They're small micro movements. They're not big, huge movements like baseball or basketball or a dunk or anything, but there is athleticism involved.
Right.
And you can tell the ones who are more athletic than others. It doesn't mean that if you're not athletic, you can't be a good arm wrestler, but you can tell. You can tell someone who's stiff and somebody's more fluid, right? So, like Junior, you know what I mean? I love watching his videos. That kid's athletic like heck, and he moves like that on the table. Same thing with Minor. So people need to understand the sport. I would like to hear something from Jay Stir, man. I'm so glad he's here, because I love that guy's videos and stuff like that, but he's not talking very much.
Well, tell us, Joshua, tell us about your birthday bonfire that's coming up.
Oh, shit, okay. Yeah, next month, the 21st, for my birthday, we're doing an arm wrestling practice, type barbecue, type bonfire.
Your sound is your audio is really bad.
And Dowler, we got a lot of feedback audio coming from you. No,
let me turn off my fan. My audio still bad?
It's a little better, maybe. Give us the date again. Did you say it's September 21st?
Yes, sir. Yeah, September 21st, next month on a Saturday.
At Huntington Beach, right?
Yep. Everybody in Southern California is welcome to come, and you're invited.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm planning to be there. I won't be going heavy. I'm going to Mexico the following weekend to compete. But I'll definitely be there. Yeah, I'll have a beer with you. We'll train a little bit, you know, go through motions and stuff like that. It sounds like a really, really good time. And Huntington Beach is cool. So those fire pits, they're like on the south side of Beach Boulevard, right? And
Yeah, I believe
PCH.
so.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've been to that exact spot, but yeah. Yeah, I'll go there early and set up and all that shit, but yeah.
Out of this world, Andrew.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, so me and Jay Squared have been talking about this, and I said I've been talking about a beach bonfire all summer. I said, Jay Squared, you're coming out, and I was like, that'd be perfect time. Everybody's back to school. I was telling him, I said, make sure everybody brings something. I don't care if it's a bag of chips, a case of waters, a big old potluck type of deal. You know what I mean? So have everybody bring a dish and just make it huge.
Okay.
Have everybody come out and we'll be good. If you like to fish, bring your fishing pole and hop in the surf or something. You know what I mean?
I'll bring firewood, hot dogs, marshmallows, and sticks.
Oh yeah.
I'll bring other stuff, but those are the first things that come to mind. Yeah.
I'll bring the frying pan.
That's what happens when you have Andrew on the show. See what he's doing?
You're looking a little small over there, Andrew. You're looking a little small.
Sorry, you're on restriction, but I'm going to punish you. You call me your dad. You're on restriction.
There's
Yeah.
the arm wrestling. What is it, biker? You're the arm wrestling astronaut.
One day when I'm that good, but I'll stick to Soul Taker for now.
Hey, you're working out every day. What's up? I thought you look a little bigger, Andrew. What's going on?
He cut weight.
All right, all you guys are haters. I've won medals at everything I've competed. I'll just play. All right, well, I'm gonna head out because Travis hurt my feelings and I'm getting tired, so I gotta go cry myself into deep depression. Thank you guys. Nice seeing everybody. Todd, Travis, Devin, Benji. Thank you for having me on, Kane. Josh, appreciate this opportunity of event and exposure for arm wrestling as a whole and just getting like the community out there and exposing it to a beautiful city like Big Bear. Huge shout out to Josh. Guys, if you have time to go check it out and support it, even if you can't compete, please go do so. Every opportunity that you take to help support and grow the arm wrestling is just something that can help that little kid in another part of a city who has nobody or nothing can get exposed to it, and hopefully there's a next big thing, or just help it get it into that area. And let's get as many eyes as we can and possible on things like this, because there's not that many people that are willing to stick their neck out and hold events like this. So when they come up, it's best to just stick your leg out and help support, because these opportunities don't come very often. So take advantage of them while you can. Again, huge shout out to Josh and Nowheretorun Arm Wrestling and UAL and Kane. Appreciate you guys. I gotta head out. Later, guys.
Angel, take it easy.
Good to see you, man.
Ahmad, you suck.
Oh, I love you, Mod. Everybody go subscribe to Nowheretorun Arm Wrestling's YouTube channel. Trying to build up that channel over there. So that's Nowheretorun Arm Wrestling. That's who's going to be running the event for UAL up in Big Bear. And we've got Brandon Sewell, another teammate, is in the chat. So real quick, let's just cover a bit of what's going on. So Malia will be competing. I won't put the camera too low. She's actually nursing Odette, being all stealth-like. Malia will be competing in an all-female super match series. That's going to happen. At least her match will be at Grinder. I was hoping to get somebody on here to help talk about that. We just kind of ran this a little bit last minute, but I believe it's the Lucky Ones arm wrestling channel. If you want to check that out and subscribe on YouTube, it's an all-female arm wrestling YouTube channel, which is amazing. And from what I understand, what they've put together is a remote arm wrestling super match series, which makes sense because we don't have enough females in arm wrestling. It was a way to put together an all women's arm wrestling match by having women from all over the country in their place having a match with somebody. So yours is with Leah. So Malia will be having one with Leia on October 5th. Okay. So yeah, just go subscribe to the Lucky Ones Arm Wrestling channel, and you can get more info on that and where to watch. What else is going on? We've got Mr. Olympia happening October, I want to say 11th and 12th. Is it? It might be 12th and 13th, but we're going to that, right, Devin?
No, I was going to, but I got offered some work, so I didn't pass it up. So I'll be working instead.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I will be there. It's a good one to be at. It's another UAL event, 12th and 13th.
Yeah, it's 11th and 12th.
Oh, 11th and 12th. Okay.
Yeah, amateurs are on the 11th, opens on the 12th. And I think the 13th, they don't do any other events because the Mr. Olympia bodybuilding show is that day, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So that's like the biggest bodybuilding show in the world. So I think they just try to alter all the attention over to that.
Right. Okay, and in Mexico on the 28th, they're having a big mega practice in Mexicali. I strongly suggest anybody going out there and doing this. They're going to have a whole super match series as well. I'll be competing in that. And they're just extremely hospitable. I love Mexicali. I love the people out there. And I also especially love the people that are putting this together. Greg Brown and Ricardo Vidal, both top-notch dudes. I believe they're going to have a barbecue. It's at a house and very family-friendly. So definitely come out for that. Speaking of Mexico, when I go out there, I might be going to get those stem cells. I believe Paul Stevens mentioned it in a chat earlier that, let's see, the stem cells place in Tijuana, Mexico, I go is cheap and a great place, and it works. So, yeah, I'm planning on going to check that out and trying it. I hear from a lot of people in our sport that I trust say that it's good.
That's probably the same place that Adam Silver went. It's in TJ. I believe he said it's only like $400 there.
Yeah, 400 is the number I've been hearing. I'm hoping there's a good one in Mexicali, but yeah, if we have to go to TJ, then fine. But yeah, I won't even be getting mine on my arms. I'll be getting mine on my freaking foot that's been injured for like a year, but it pisses me off enough to try it. But anybody that is interested in stem cells, that is a good place to do it, and you can maximize your trip out and go to the Mexico practice as well. What else do we got going on? We got Danny Dowler in the house. What's up, Danny?
Good.
Recovery day?
Yeah, just working on my table a little bit.
Okay, cool, man.
I got so
Javier Martinez says Mexicali sounds great. I'd love a super match. Okay, I'll reach out to Ricardo Vidal and see if they have anybody for you, Javier. That'd be cool. I'd love to have a teammate coming out with me. That'll be super cool. So it sounds like Travis, you might be looking to potentially do a Kringle pull too.
Yeah, so first I'm gonna do Mr. Olympia. That's after the Big Bear tournament. That's the one I'm doing. And then after that I'll be prepping. That's a high possibility for Chris Kringle too. I've already reached out to a few people, Jamie being one of them. I'm not too sure how serious he would be. Obviously, we talked numbers on how much it would cost for, when you have an event at like a place like that where you have to kind of gate off like the street and then you have to get permits and all that stuff. But so I don't know. I don't know if that will happen at that location. The location that we had last year, we could do that, but I mean, you add in stage, I had to buy rent a stage and all that stuff. So my house in Rancho, that could be a possibility. Andrew, that was just on, we talked about potentially in the high desert, 24-hour fitness, because his girl is a assistant manager there, and that might be a possibility for like an open room there at the 24-hour fitness. So there's a few different ideas. I'm trying to get in talks with the high school right now, maybe an auditorium. So I mean, that would be the dream to get an auditorium. That's like ideal. So there's just a few different things that I'm kind of working on behind the scenes right now, to see what's best financially and what's going to be the best uh, for everybody, like a local drive. I don't want everybody driving like super far, because the majority of the pullers are, San Bernardino County area, of course, like Alpha Empire, and then we got obviously the compound. And so within, I think, a 50-mile radius, you get a lot more pullers. And when you start sending people down to San Diego and farther distances, I mean, you don't get as big of a turnout, I believe. So I don't know. I mean, after last year's tournament, I was even talking to Christian. I said, hey, you know what? I think even for amateurs, I'm gonna add in like prizes and stuff like that. Not Probably not cash prizes, but like giving away like flat screen, like 50, 60-inch flat screen TVs. Like let's say an amateur gets into the tournament, they'll get like a raffle ticket. And they put it in one of the 5 or 6 prizes that they want. And then it's just like a raffle prize drawn, and obviously still do the medals and stuff like that. But me being an amateur, I feel like, okay, cool, pros get cash, whatever. It's like, I feel like amateurs, cool, we arm wrestle for medals and whatnot, and sure, get better, you'll win money potentially, but we're never gonna touch the Vrezhes. We're never gonna touch the people that are like top 2 or top 3, unless you've been in the sport for several years and you're very consistent, right? So I like to make it interesting for everybody that, gets in, and I don't know, I just like to give back like that. So I don't know, I've been having a few different ideas. Um,
Well,
Obviously we'll talk more about it, but
yeah, let's definitely talk, because the location that I'm looking to potentially move uh, my mountain alphas practice at is also a location where events could be held.
okay.
It's pretty low on the mountain, so conveniently located. And also they have a stage. They facilitate, live concerts and stuff like that, and serve drinks and really good food. So we're in the process of talking to the manager there, to seeing what we can work out. So that could be a potential, because then if we're bringing them a whole bunch of business, then you're not going to be charged for the venue space, the stage, the aesthetic, all of that stuff. And so a lot of those entry fees can go back into those payouts that you're talking about for both amateur and pro and prizes and such. But yeah, let's definitely talk about that. There's a few different things that need to come together for it, but yeah, that could be a
Yeah,
possibility.
I'm definitely I mean, there's several locations that I've really been thinking about, but sorry, I got a new puppy today. But but yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I loved. I loved the aspect of the tournament, of course, during the holidays. So we'll see kind of like where we're at. But I think later in December would be ideal for that, just because of the big tournaments that are happening early December out of state. You're going to it, Mika's going to it. So I mean, Larray is throwing a massive
Oh, the
tournament.
Tennessee Invitational. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, it's gonna be an amazing turnout over there. So I can't wait to see the video and watch the live of that one. I mean, that's gonna be really, really fun to watch. But I mean, no, I mean, like I said, other than that, there's not really anything going on in December, I believe. So Chris Kringle's kind of already established. So it was a really good turnout last year. Like the setup, the lights, everything kind of,
It was
you know,
cool. It was really
it was
cool.
cool. It was different, you know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll keep talking about it, and kind of, if it's meant to be, everything will fall into place. If it's not meant to be, everybody will still have a good Christmas, you know? So, but I mean,
Sweet.
I would love, the more arm wrestling, the better.
Right. Okay, well, I'm gonna be shutting this down in a minute, and I gotta say something about what Danny's doing down there. This is something that you can do at all levels of the sport, but I think especially if you're new to the sport, look at what he's doing and do that. Because there's two things that are happening right now with what he's doing. I can tell it's not a large amount of like max weight because of, he's doing more volume. But he's got the weight to a point of where there's tension, right? Just to be here, neutral, right? But he's also adding articulation here, hand and wrist, and a little bit of body movement. That now we're talking arm wrestling when you're trying to condition endurance and the comfortability in what arm wrestling is. That's it. So it's not just the idea of being static and connected, but you're also trying to control, you're trying to articulate, and that's, I think, what a lot of people need to get comfortable with. But yeah, that's just my two cents. I like what you're doing there. I do the same shit all week long, Danny.
Two other things real quick. So we have the World Series of Arm Wrestling also at the end of next month.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
Mega Mike also has a super match, left-handed. I don't know if anybody knew. He's pulling Jody Williams in a super match, left hand.
Right at the finals, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's and then another thing. When do you plan on going live? When do you plan on doing another Zoom meeting?
I haven't really planned it out. I mean, normally I would do it on a weekly basis if things, weren't too busy, but yeah.
If we could do it next week, I don't know, I just thought of this. Have you ever met, Wes Bedrosian?
Yeah, I know who he is, yeah.
Okay. I'll try to see if he can come on live because he just posted today, because he's on Brian Shaw's arm wrestling team. And Brian Shaw is back into arm wrestling because he had the World's Strongest Man event that he puts on. So he's done with that, and they just had another practice today. So Brian seems to be taking it serious. So if we get Wes, I mean, I'm not gonna get Brian on here. If we get Wes on here, people can ask, Wes, how it's going and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, because next Wednesday, so this weekend we got the whole mountain thing. Yeah, for sure. It'll be a good week to run another one. We can do a little recap on what's happening, what happened on the whole mountain arm wrestling thing. But yeah, is there anything else, guys?
Just a question for Travis. What do you think about at the Kris Kringle this year, establishing the setup rules and everything like that mimics North versus South? I think we can get through it a little faster. I mean, it was great. There was nothing wrong with it. Ran a bit long, and in the wintertime, when it starts to get cold, it's kind of funky. But I just think you can cut out maybe about an hour and a half just with some changes. North versus South was so fluid, it made it just more interesting for me and more stimulating. Just a suggestion.
There was more arm wrestling for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you're cutting out, Travis. I don't know if you're driving.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Okay, yeah. The unique thing about those rules was that we went with the set grip. There was also no slips in a slip in a losing position was a loss.
Yep.
And only position gain fouls.
And nobody had any problems with it.
Right. Everyone was skeptical about it going in. Really, really worried about it, but it seemed to really work out.
Yep.
I've always hated people slipping in a losing position anyways. So I love that rule. But Yeah, I mean, whatever you guys think is best. I mean, I'm not really the guy that is like, hey, let's set this up. Like, I'm just the guy that wants to throw the tournament and bring people together. Like, that's my whole thing is like, I mean, Todd, you're like a mechanic, man. I mean, you're like very specific. So, I mean, I call you like the commissioner. So, if you want to be like the commissioner of the roles, I'm okay with that. And then obviously talk things over with Kane and Christian. I'm perfectly okay with that because I'm like, hey, I'm just here to throw the event on and bring people together. Like that's my forte, and like that's what I just like to do. So when it comes down to like technicality of things, I'm like, hey, whatever speeds things up, and if everybody's cool with it, let's run it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I like it. Can't do it.
Yeah,
Get
it
it
was
done.
all
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very easy.
Yeah, that's the only way I see arm wrestling going forward. It's hard to compete in any format after competing in that way. It was so cool. You really feel like you're arm wrestling. But yeah, I know we'll all come together and we'll make the Kringle pull awesome. We're gonna make this mountain weekend awesome. I really appreciate you guys all coming on here. It's good to be catching up on things, and I hope to see all of you this weekend. Saturday in Big Bear for an awesome tournament. Sunday a little further down the mountain in Crestline at Lake Gregory for the Arm Fest practice, the mega practice where all teams are welcome from everywhere. And yeah, so get yourself a cabin, a hotel, a rental, or whatever. Go compete in the tournament if you want. The next day, come hang out with us by the lake. You know, you don't have to pull too hard if you had a rough day at the tournament. Just come hang out with us and have a good time at the lake. But yeah, love all you guys. Appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of the week.
Thank you, King.
Later.
All right, bye bye.
Later, guys.